Welcome to the Olympus Report, demigods, monsters, and gods alike. Is there any safer place for a demigod than Camp Half-Blood? Here's everything you need to know. Camp Half-Blood is a Greek demigod training facility located on the north shore of Long Island. The camp is directed by the god Dionysus, who the campers call Mr. D, and Chiron, a centaur, who is the activities director. Besides Chiron and Dionysus, the camp also has a security guard, Argus, and he is covered with eyes from head to foot, and never speaks. There's also several harpies at camp that serve as the camp cleaners. And if they catch you out past curfew, they may eat you. The first 6 students were brought to Chiron to train by Apollo back in ancient Greece. Their names were Aeneas, who fought for Troy in the Trojan War, the first Jason, who captained the Argo, Achilles, who was dipped in the Styx, Atalantia, who was a renowned huntress, Asclepius, Apollo's son, and who went on to become the immortal god of medicine, and the first Perseus, who killed Medusa. According to various campers, the camp has trained some very famous figures since then, including the United States President George Washington, who was a son of Athena. Camp Half-Blood started out in ancient Greece on the foot of Mount Pelon, which was Chiron's home. As it grew in size, the camp had to move to the base of Mount Olympus, and would follow Olympus as it traveled to the west, following western expansion. And one day, Apollo showed up with a horde of satyrs to help demigods find their way to the training camp. Camp Half-Blood is a sanctuary for demigods, but before there were magical borders, things were a lot more dangerous. The first magical border came after Thalia sacrificed herself and Zeus made her into a pine tree. The tree protected the camp. However, after Thalia was revived, the camp's magical borders were then powered by the Golden Fleece, retrieved by Satyr Grover Underwood, Cyclops Tyson, and demigods Percy Jackson, Clarisse LaRue, and Annabeth Chase. The fleece was placed on Thalia's pine tree, ensuring that no monster could get into camp. The fleece stays on the tree, guarded by the dragon Pelus. The camp is described as being the only safe place for Half-Blood. Although, in the Heroes of Olympus series, it is revealed that there is a similar camp for Roman demigods, Camp Jupiter. The camp has several traditions derived from Greek roots. Winners and victors are given laurel wreaths and paraded around camp. Anytime a camper goes on a quest, their sibling/cabin mates can weave a burial shroud, in case their sibling does not survive. If the camper has no siblings, another cabin may volunteer to do it. Should they return victorious, they get to burn the shroud themselves. Another tradition is offering sacrifices to the gods. They do this in the form of burnt offerings. After every meal, it is encouraged that you save a piece of it and throw it into the fire, offering it as a sacrifice to whichever god of your choosing. But the most prominent tradition is the Camp Bees. At the end of every summer session, the senior campers get to vote on the biggest event of the summer and paint it on a bead. Each camper then receives a bead to add to their camp necklace. The Half-Bloods live in cabins, one for each of the 12 Olympians. Later, many more cabins were added for the minor gods and goddesses such as Hecate, Hypnos, Iris, Nemesis, Hebe, Tyche, Nike, and Hades. Each cabin is led by a senior camp counselor. Typically, this is the oldest member of the cabin, but if you've completed a quest, you can challenge the current counselor for their position. The cabins in order are: Cabin 1, Zeus. Zeus's cabin is described as a marble building, looking like a mausoleum with heavy columns. The big bronze double doors are polished in such a way it provides a holographic effect of lightning bolts passing across. It also thunders all the time inside. Some notable campers are Thalia Grace and Jason Grace. Cabin 2, Hera's cabin. Hera's cabin is a marble, formal-looking building, graceful with slim columns. It is done similarly to her husband Zeus's cabin, except smaller. There are no campers in Hera's cabin. Cabin 3, Poseidon's cabin. Poseidon's cabin is a long, low building with windows facing the ocean. The cabin is made from rough sea stone. There are pieces of coral and seashell embedded into the outside walls, and a trident with a big bronze number 3 over the door. Notable campers are Percy Jackson and Tyson. Cabin 4, Demeter's cabin. Demeter's cabin is covered in flowers, and tomato plants grow on the walls and doorway. Wildflowers and roses grow on the porch. It has a real grass roof. The cabin is colored a light shade of brown. Notable campers are Miranda Gardner, Katie Gardner, Meg McCaffrey, Billy NG, Steve, and Douglas. Cabin 5, Aries Cabin. Aries Cabin is painted red and has a large boar's head over the door with barbed wire on the roof. Notable campers, Sherman Yang, Clarice LaRue, Mark, Arnold Beefcake, and Elias Wakefield. Cabin 6, Athena's Cabin. Athena's Cabin is a gray building with plain white curtains and a design of an owl over the door. Notable campers, Annabeth Chase and Malcolm Pace. Cabin 7, Apollo's Cabin. Apollo's cabin is made of solid gold and made to glow during the daytime. It's hard to tell if the gold is reflecting the light or generating it. Notable campers, Lee Fletcher, Michael Yu, Will Solis, Austin Lake, Kayla Knowles, Yan, Gracie, and Jerry. Cabin 8, Artemis's Cabin. Artemis's Cabin is a silver building with silver curtains, similar to the outfit of the hunters. It also glows silver during the night, as it's reflecting the moon. But it looks like a normal cabin during the day. There are no official campers in Cabin 8, but the hunters do use it when they are staying at camp. Cabin 9, Hephaestus' Cabin. Hephaestus' cabin looks like a small factory with brick walls and smokestacks, and lots of gears around the entrance. Notable campers, Charles Beckendorf, Jake Manson, Leo Valdez, Harley, Shane, Christopher, and Nissa Barbera. Cabin 10, Aphrodite's Cabin. Aphrodite's Cabin is a wooden cabin with a painted blue roof. Pillars, a checkerboard deck with steps and gray walls. It also has a pink door and potted carnations by the windows. It also smells heavily of designer perfume. Piper describes it as a giant Barbie house where supermodels go to die. Notable campers, Selena Beauregard, Drew Tanaka, Piper McLean, Mitchell Lacey, and Valentina Diaz. Cabin 11, Hermes Cabin. Hermes Cabin has peeling brown paint and a caduceus over the door. It is probably in such bad shape because it was overpopulated for so long. Notable campers, Luke Castellan, Connor Stoll, Travis Stoll, Chris Rodriguez, Cecile Markowitz, Julia Fengold, and Alice Miyazawa. Cabin 12, Dionysus Cabin. Dionysus Cabin has its roof and walls lined with grapevines. It is unknown what it looks like on the inside. Notable campers, Pollux and Castor. These were the original 12 cabins, but after the Titans War, many more cabins were added. Cabin 13, Hades Cabin. Hades Cabin is a windowless cabin made of solid obsidian with heavy columns and torches that burn green like Greek fire, and has a skull over the door. Notable campers, Nico D'Angelo. Cabin 14, Iris's Cabin. It is unknown officially what the Iris Cabin looks like. Notable campers, Butch Walker and Blanche. Cabin 15, Hypnosis Cabin. Hypnosis Cabin is described by Jason as an old-fashioned prairie house. It has a rush roof and mud walls. There is a wreath of red poppies on the door. Notable campers, Clovis. Cabin 16, Nemesis's Cabin. Nemesis Cabin has a broken wheel above the door that resembles Pac-Man. Notable campers, Damian White. Cabin 17, Nike's Cabin. Nike's Cabin has magical paint that can change the exterior color just by touching it. Notable campers, Holly Victor and Laurel Victor. Cabin 18, Hebe's Cabin. It is unknown officially what Hebe's Cabin looked like, but it was designed by Annabeth Chase. Notable campers, Paolo Montez. Cabin 19, Tyke's Cabin. According to Rick Riordan, the cabin looks like a miniature Las Vegas casino. Notable campers, Chiara Benavuti. Cabin 20, Hecate's Cabin. Hecate's Cabin is built from blocks of stone with magic inscriptions on them. Notable campers, Lou Ellen Blackstone. Camp Half-Blood has several other areas of camp as well. The Big House. The Big House is where the Oracle used to live in the attic before Rachel Elizabeth Dare took the Oracle into her body. It is also the main meeting place for leaders of the cabins for major problems and any ideas before any quest. It is also where Chiron and Mr. D stay. Dining Pavilion. The Dining Pavilion is where the campers eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Each cabin has its own tables, and campers are not allowed to sit at a table that is not their cabins, although Annabeth has broken this rule. Amphitheater. The amphitheater has rising tiers of stone benches that curve around the central stage. Camp Store. The Camp Store sells Camp Half-Blood t-shirts, toothbrushes, wind chimes, available in celestial bronze and silver. They also sell packs of Mytho-Magic cards and tote bags. Armory. It is a big metal shed around the side of the Athena's cabin. The Climbing Wall. The Lava Wall, a climbing wall, is said to pour lava out for an extra challenge. Sword Fighting Arena. The sword fighting arena is where campers go to duel and practice with different weapons of their choice. Archery field. The archery field is where archery classes are taught. Volleyball court. The volleyball court is the court that demigods go to play volleyball. Not much else is said about it. Camp forge. This is where campers go to make their own weapons. It is mostly used by the children of Hephaestus. Arts and Crafts Center. The Arts and Crafts Center is the favorite place of Athena kids who can sculpt, paint, and weave. Bunker 9. Bunker 9 was created by the children of Hephaestus. It is also the location where the flying ship, the Argo II, was built. It can only be opened by fire. And the first person to discover its location in 100 years was Leo Valdez. Pegasus Stables. This is where they stored the Pegasus, and where Pegasus riding classes take place. Strawberry Fields. The strawberry fields are where the camp grows strawberries to sell. The Forest. The woods are where the dryads live and monsters were stocked. It is known as a dangerous place, and no one should ever go there alone unless they are armed or with a companion. Canoe Lake. The Canoe Lake is where the campers canoe. And the camp also has notable landmarks. Half-Blood Hill. This is where Thalia's pine tree is located and is the entrance to camp. Grove of Dodona. The Grove of Dodona is a grove of sacred oak trees that can actually speak and sometimes even issue prophecies. Cave of the Oracle. After Rachel Elizabeth Dare became the Oracle, this is where she now stays. The Athena Parthenon. The Athena Parthenon now sits at Camp Half-Blood. Fist of Zeus, a pile of boulders that resembles a fist and once held the entrance to the labyrinth. Many camp activities take place at these different locations, including ancient Greek lessons, stable cleaning, strawberry picking, armor polishing, Pegasus riding, monster assault techniques, sword skills, javelin throwing, archery, Greek mythology, weapon making, tracking skills, wood chopping, and capture the flag. And that's the basics of Camp Half-Blood. Did I leave out anything important? Let me know down in the comments below. But until next time, I'm signing off, and please, as always, stay safe.